Every 100 years, a single shooting star crossed the Earth's skies, said to connect two souls destined to meet and complete a love left unfinished by time itself. On that rare night, the world was asleep beneath a rain of soft starlight, but one girl remained awake, staring from her rooftop balcony at the heavens that seemed to pulse with life. Her name was Lyra, and though she had never believed in cosmic magic, her heart had always carried a strange emptiness, as though it waited for someone it could not name. As the comet streaked across the horizon, its silvery tail slicing through the darkness, Lyra felt a shiver race through her veins and a whisper bloom in her chest. He's out there, looking at the same sky. It wasn't a thought, it was a knowing. Miles away, by the restless sea, Evan stood on a weathered cliff beside a lighthouse, his breath caught as the same comet's light danced in his eyes. He felt tears slip from nowhere, carried by a sadness that didn't belong to this lifetime. Since childhood, he had painted skies filled with faces he couldn't remember, and now that same star burned above him as though recognizing him after a long separation. That night changed both of them in ways they couldn't explain. The world looked the same the next morning, yet every glance upward revealed something new. Constellations that shouldn't exist shimmered faintly, connecting dots into patterns that pulsed with energy. One night, Lyra traced the stars above her and saw them shift into letters, EVAN, before fading. She blinked hard, her heart racing, convinced it was a trick of the eyes. But when Evan looked at the sky days later and saw Lyra form beside the moon, he knew fate had started whispering in light. Both began keeping journals, recording each change, each pattern, each word. And though they lived miles apart, both shared the same longing, the same ache of something ancient waking inside them. The universe had started writing a story across the stars, and they were its main characters. Lyra could no longer sleep. Each night, the stars called her name in silent patterns, each brighter than the last, and every dream was filled with visions of a boy she had never met but felt she had once loved. She saw flashes of laughter in a field of white blossoms, a promise under falling starlight, and a touch that felt both real and ghostly. She began searching every astronomy forum and observatory record she could find, desperate to know if others saw the same constellations, but no one did. Evan, meanwhile, felt the pull grow stronger. He started painting skies without looking at reference photos, yet every canvas showed the same girl, long dark hair, eyes reflecting galaxies, hands reaching toward the stars. When his latest painting dried, he noticed something new on the edge of the canvas, an observatory dome he had never seen before. Following the image like a map, he drove for hours, chasing the coordinates of a place he didn't know existed. The night Lyra saw the comet's light form a circle of stars above her, her phone buzzed with an unknown message, "Meet me where the sky touches glass." She froze, her pulse pounding as though her soul had recognized the call. Guided by instinct, she drove out of the city, the road bathed in moonlight. When she arrived at the old observatory, she found the air alive with a soft hum, as if the stars themselves were waiting. Evan stood beneath the shattered dome, looking up. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Lyra whispered, trembling, "It was you, wasn't it?" The stars flared brighter, spelling their names together for the first time, forming a glowing heart above them. In that moment, the world fell silent. Time held its breath as two halves of the same soul found each other again. They didn't know how or why, but both felt it, the certainty that this was not their first meeting, only the first one they would remember. The universe had written their names in light, and tonight, it had brought them together once more. As the night wrapped around the observatory, Lyra and Evan stood beneath the broken dome, their hearts beating to a rhythm older than their names. The stars above shimmered like 1,000 eyes watching their reunion, whispering a language of light only they could understand. Lyra reached out and touched Evan's hand, and the moment their fingers met, the constellations exploded in brightness, revealing scenes that weren't dreams but memories, their past lives unfolding in the sky. They saw themselves in another century, dancing in a rain of stardust, promising never to lose each other again. Then fire, separation, and endless waiting. The comet had passed once more, and their souls had been reborn into different bodies, drawn again by the same celestial thread. Evan's breath trembled as he whispered, "We've done this before, haven't we?" Lyra nodded, tears catching the light. She didn't understand how, but she remembered too, a kiss beneath the same stars 100 years ago, the same words of love, the same promise. The universe had kept their vow alive. As they stood in silence, the stars began forming new shapes above, a door made of light. The ground beneath them shimmered like rippling water, and a deep hum filled the air. A soft voice echoed from nowhere and everywhere at once. You found each other again. Now the choice is yours. Remain where love never ends, or return where memories fade. Lyra's eyes met Evan's, fear and wonder blending in her gaze. If they stayed, they would live in the eternal starlight, their souls forever joined but never human again. If they returned, they would live mortal lives, bound by time and loss, but real. Evan smiled faintly, brushing a tear from her cheek. Love is only beautiful when it breathes, he said. Lyra's heart broke and healed all at once as they stepped back from the glowing light, choosing the imperfect world that allowed them to feel, to hurt, to live again. The door of stars dimmed, but the sky burned brighter, honoring their choice. Somewhere far above, the comet began to fade, leaving trails of silver behind like blessings for the brave. The following morning, the observatory stood quiet and empty, the air thick with silence. Lyra woke in her bed, the memory of the night flickering in fragments, a hand, a smile, starlight dissolving into tears. Evan woke in his seaside home, his fingers stained with silver dust that shimmered faintly before fading away. Neither could recall how they got home, but the sense of loss and peace inside them was unmistakable. Days passed, and both returned to their lives, yet the sky never looked ordinary again. Sometimes, Lyra caught herself staring at the constellations, seeing faint outlines of words that vanished when she blinked. Sometimes, Evan would paint without knowing why, and every painting showed a girl standing under a night sky full of falling stars. One evening, as Lyra walked home, she saw a new mural on a city wall, her own face gazing upward, surrounded by golden light. Beneath it, someone had written, "Wherever love was written once, it will be written again." Her chest tightened, and she smiled through her tears. At the same moment, hundreds of miles away, Evan finished a painting of the same scene, his heart steady and calm. They had chosen reality, but love had chosen to remain, not in dreams or in memory, but in the stars that watched over them both. When the next comet crossed the Earth a century later, people claimed they saw two figures holding hands in its light, smiling as if they had finally found home. The legend of Lyra and Evan became one whispered through generations, that love, when pure, leaves traces not in words but in the sky itself.